I love to talk about the Howell Group. It's a work in progress. It goes on without me now, but it goes on. As we were moving on inclusive education, people started to ask me about, but look, if they come out of here ready for inclusion and ready for being, the adult side is a mess. So they're going to graduate to something different than what they learned about and what they hoped for. Why don't you organize a group to work on that? And finally, I said okay, and they said, well, let's not meet in Ann Arbor like we do for the Inclusive Education Network was what we called the earlier thing. Let's not meet in Ann Arbor. I said, okay, we'll make it closer to the middle of the state, and we'll meet in Howell, Michigan instead. So some people in this country think Howl is H-O-W-L, like Howl at the Moon, but it's H-O-W-E-L-L, which is a small city, a village in Michigan. But they happened to have a motel that had a meeting room, and it actually was closer to my home than Ann Arbor was, where I lived. So, but it seemed it's closer to Lansing, closer to the middle of the state. So as people came together and they started to talk, you could break people into two groups. There was one group that wanted to talk about it and design it and work on it in some kind of global way. And then there were people who wanted to know, what can I do when I get home tonight? Or what can I do when I go to work in the morning? So it ended up that what I thought was going to be one group meeting a month ended up being 3 a month, one for a group who wanted to talk about it. And we could have all tried to do that all at once, but it proved to be such a cacophony in the first 2 meetings that I let some people gravitate. Some people went to both, but people gravitated either towards a group that wanted to do that mapping or planning or whatever, and then other people who wanted to start pounding on it right away. I mean, and some of this, as an organizer, you kind of recognize what's going to lead people, what's going to motivate them, and that kind of stuff. And so I let them divide into 2 groups. Now I had 3 meetings a month. The whole group, the maps, and the wheels group. Was going to be, what do I do with pavement hits when the rubber hits the pavement? And so they each came up with their own kind of statement, and one talked in glowing terms about everything from, this is before we ever heard of person-centered planning,